Hey guys, welcome to my Q&A, which it's been a long time coming. It's been, I think it's been over a year now. I've been very bad with Q&As. I'm trying to organize it better, but yes, this is a bit casual, less editing and stuff. And I've got a big list of questions that were asked on my ask.fm. I think that's the website. It's very confusing. And I also have some from Patreon. I have a Patreon goal where you can specifically ask so as to not get less serious questions, and a good way to get some good ones. And here they are. So, starting with Amber, she asks, have you ever made a really good friend from someone who was a fan? I wouldn't say, well, depends what really good is, in a sense, because I wouldn't really say I have any really good friends. I just have friends. It's a specific way of my mind. I don't know, it's very weird, but yeah, I've made friends who are fans. Yeah, people who message me over the times, and I've spoken to some. It really depends. It's very hit and miss who I talk to, because I'm not the best socially. Anyway, she also asks, do you sketch often? If so, why don't you post it on DeviantArt? I do have a DeviantArt, which I don't really post anything on. I tend to use it to find people who've done fan art, so I just search, Creepypasta, and, comment on their stuff, just to be like, oh yes. Well, I don't have a set thing I say. I tend to just reply to what I see. But, I like finding fan arts. They're always fun. And I do sketch a little bit, but it's just all in my own time. She also asks, what's something your fans do that irk you, but you say nothing because you don't know how or don't want to hurt them? So yeah, what do fans do that tick me off? There isn't much. There is one or two things I've not been, but there's a lot of things little things that don't need to be vocalized. But I don't know, if I had to mention one, it would be when, when I do a video. So say, an example I found recently was PewDiePie.exe. I did that for an April Fool's thing, and then some other people must have thought, oh yeah, that's quite funny, I like it, I'll do it. So, some other people have done the same story. But then you get these comments like, oh, Creepypasta did it first, blah blah blah, and I'm like, I don't own the story. And I've even had to apologize in their video, just like, sorry, they acted like that, you did great, blah blah blah. And it happens on mine too, when I've done a story and someone's like, oh, someone else has done this one, and it's like, you don't really own the story. No one owns it other than the author. We're doing fan adaptations of it. So yeah, but it's like it's done in an innocence, in a sense of dedication to a YouTuber. So that's why I can't really shout about it. And then we've got Jensen, another Patreon, who says, did you ever have moments of discouragement while building your YouTube channel? Were you ever questioning your abilities? Yeah, started off, like voice acting. A lot of people are like, oh, I love your voice, and I don't hear it. It's just a me thing. I guess you can't really, unless you're really narcissistic, can't really hear how good you are at something sometimes. I don't know, it's easy to be self-critical. And discouragement, I don't know, I've just always done things because I've found it fun. That's the ultimate bottom line. And so in a sense, I haven't been heavily discouraged, but there always are the little things. He also says, what made you want to start your YouTube channel in the first place? What made me want to start? It was initially just I want to try voice acting. It's always been a curiosity of mine. It was in my experimental phase when I was like, oh, this is cool, I want to try this, I want to try that. And I was like, oh, this would be a good way to start, because it's not really specifically acting out characters, which is something I'm still trying to learn to do. It's just you're using your acting to tell a story. And it's like from that, and it still is carrying on like that, so it's still going like that. So yeah, that's how it started. And also, did you ever think that you would reach the YouTube point that you are now? If not, what was your original goal when it comes to subscribers, community involvement, types of projects, etc.? Of course I didn't think it would get to whatever it is now of recording this / publishing of this video, but of course I didn't know. I don't think anyone's, I don't know, actually some people do plan on their channel. Yeah, no, but personally I did not know. And as to my original goal, there was no original goal. Like I said, I started it for a bit of fun, and it's so hard, it's getting harder to make people believe me, but I still do it for fun. You know, it's one of those, if it ever stopped being fun, I'd probably stop. You know, but at the same time, people are like, I don't know. I think I just see the sour side in some things. But yeah, it was always fun. And now to the questions asked by you guys. Hey guys, I'm back. Hopefully with the power of editing, it'll be like I never left. Anyway, yes, moving on to the questions from the Ask FM. When are more creepypastas coming out? Although this is a bit of a vague question, I'm actually going to use it in the sense of when do they come out? Because I've never published the schedule, but the schedule I've been running in my head now is like a medium, shortish length one on Wednesdays, Fridays are a biggish one, Saturdays is an optional day for me, it's either upload or not, and Sunday is a medium-ish one, so 3 or 4 a week, that's when to look forward for them now. When is your birthday? The 21st of May. What's your favourite holiday? Asked by Amanda Jean Lapointe? I don't know how to say that, I'm sorry. My favourite holiday is actually Christmas. Not because of the sort of festiveness, but it's the time that my family all get together and we all do something together, and it's a very, not a rare thing, but it's like, it's always something to look forward to. And let's see. If you had to stop YouTube, what would you do? If I ever stopped YouTube, I'll just carry on what I do now, just with a lot more spare time. You'll be surprised how much time I put into YouTube. A woman walks into your bedroom. The only thing is, she's a female clone of you, containing all the memories and personality of you up until a week before this event, when she was cloned. How would you handle this situation? Okay, well, they'll have my memories, so I won't really have to handle the situation. They'll know what I want to do, which is not much, really. Oh, I could do some collaborations. It'll be perfect. It's very hard to find a Britishy person. Yeah, that's another particular thing. Sometimes someone's always like, oh, would you do a collaboration with so-and-so? And it's always hard to use different nationality people sometimes, with continuity and whatnot. Are you human, demon, alien, or some sort of sentient, or some form of sentient cheese? Well, technically human DNA, we share about 50% of our DNA with fish, and 50% of our DNA with bananas, which makes us a banana mermaid, so I'll go with that. Favorite YouTubers? Some people notice me comment on other people's stuff, and when I comment on their stuff, like, it's because I watch the videos, not because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna comment on everything. No, I actually comment on stuff I like. You have to know I've been doing stuff on my main channel now for 2 years, 2 and a bit years. But I've been on YouTube since 2006, just watching channels grow and die. It's scary, actually. Like, some of the channels I used to watch years ago are now just shells. It's kind of scary. But yeah, there's a bunch of people. It's Game Grumps. I like, who do I like? Oh my gosh, you put me on the spot. The only one I can think of is Game Grumps. Yeah, I like Game Grumps. Cry stuff is pretty cool, although I find it hard to keep up with series sometimes. PewDiePie stuff are good for one-off stuff. Don't care what people say, you know, he's entertaining. I've only listed Let's Play. Oh, animators, yeah. OniNG, Psychic Pebbles, Guitar Master X7. There's loads of people. There's so many people I watch. And it's so hard to pin a favourite because there's different types, so I think I'll leave it like that. Do you like Marble Hornets? Asked by Wolfwoods. It's shameful, but I still haven't watched their stuff. I haven't gotten around to it yet, and it's something I do need to do. I do want to, but I just haven't broken the seal yet. Is it okay if I stalk you? Wait, if you ask that, if I know about it, is it still stalking? Do you have any personal horror stories that you're willing to share? I get asked things like this a lot, like, have I ever had any personal paranormal experience and this and that? I actually haven't. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, I'm not saying anything like that, but I just haven't. It's simple like that. Have you ever had any nightmare about creepypastas killing or haunting you? No, I actually haven't. I don't really dream much at all. So, the last dream I remember having, I very rarely remember them. The last one I had was, I was Pirate Hitler trying to assemble a pedal-powered helicopter with my crew, which was like sticking together bouncy castle parts to impress a beach full of people. So nothing to do with creepypastas. Someone's asked, what is my current day job? I chose not to reveal this on my Patreon, and yeah, I still am not now. I think I'll keep that to myself. Do you believe YouTube has changed you for the better? Changed me for the better. Yes, it has, definitely. It's added a sense of discipline to me. I always like the idea of self-discipline. It's always something I've conceptualized as a good thing in my head. Things like martial arts have always appealed to me, although I have never done them. It's things like when I went to the gym, I could have just went casually. Instead, I went 5 days a week to prove to myself that I would do it. And it's the same with YouTube. I like to, even though I do it for fun, I still like to follow a bit of a routine to show that I can train myself to do something. If that makes sense. It's a bit of a hard one to get across. It's more based on personal stuff than a general thing. Exactly why... Oh, this one's a bit of an important-ish one, although a bit late because I've sat on these questions for a long time. Exactly why didn't you participate in the charity livestream? This was pertaining to the charity livestream which was done because of the Slenderman stabbings, as it's been dubbed. That was a very particular incident. And the charity livestream is something I truly think, for the cause, was brilliant. I 100% support the cause. They were doing it for the victim. The way the fandom reacted, I wasn't happy with, and I made a few posts about it on Tumblr, although that statement in itself is a bit redundant. But yeah, I made a few posts about it because people were like, oh no, look what's happened to Creepypasta. What's going to happen to Creepypasta? This and that. The fact that people turn their attention to Creepypasta, I think, is a bit disgusting in itself because, you know, there was a victim in hospital. It's like, well, that's where your attention should be. And the reason why I didn't do the live stream, although they did the right thing, they made it about the victim, you know, about defending the victim, about, you know, raising money for the victim's parents, for, you know, because America has medical bills, Americans, and no free healthcare. But anyway, the thing about the live stream is that it kind of directed attention towards the creepypasta and narrator community and creepypasta community in general, when I feel if people just let it pass, it would have went by a lot quieter. But the fact that they drew attention to themselves, it's a bit hard to describe. Like I keep saying, I supported the cause, just I didn't like the idea of a big extravagant event, and for that, you know, I couldn't bring myself to be a part of it. What's the best thing about the UK? We have loads of good things in the UK. I mean, when comparing to other countries, you know, we have, you know, gays can marry here. How cool is that? We don't have this big uproar about it. We have free healthcare. I mentioned that earlier. What else do we have? We have nice scenes. We have very old history, like castles and stuff. I live next to a castle. Yeah, UK has a lot of nice things about it. But you appreciate it more when you're not from here. Like, if I took someone to my castle, they'll be like, it's just a castle. If I take someone from America to it, it's like, oh, look, a castle! I've seen that you're into Attack on Titan. So are there any more animes you're into? Personally, I love Ouran High School Host Club. And don't judge it on how it looks. It looks like a really girly anime, but it's very self-satirical. It acknowledges it's a reverse harem, and it even breaks the fourth wall in that. It's hard to describe how good it is, but when you watch it, you'll like it. Someone who hates those kind of animes that are made to watch it liked it, so it's definitely good. Hajime no Ippo is a niche-ish one, which I enjoyed. You know, I mentioned I used to go to the gym anyway. And as a fitness buff, you know, as a guy who likes fitness, that one's really good to watch. Yeah, there are many. I actually kind of like Free. I watched it as a joke like many others, and it turns out to be really good. Oh, it's a guilty pleasure. But yeah, they're worth checking out. I have a hard time finding good music. Do you have any good bands you would recommend? I'm terrible for music suggestions. I I'll listen to Ninja Sex Party for a few songs, then I'll listen to Beethoven, then I'll go to Game Grumps remixes, then I'll go to... Oh, I just jump around. Then lately, if you watch Guardians of the Galaxy, type in Guardians of the Galaxy playlist, and it'll come up with a 12-song playlist of the sort of old-timey songs they used. That's what I've been listening to recently. That's really good to listen to. Lily Pichu's piano compilations as well. She's really good on piano. Let's see what else have we got. When you feel low, what do you do to cheer yourself up? I'm very... I mean, I don't want to call it over-optimistic, but when I'm low, there's always that niggling feeling in the back of my mind where it's like, things are bad now, but that only means things can get better. So, when I'm down, I'm never always 100% down, so... I don't know, I just do things until I cheer up, because I always know it's going to be better. It's a very hard mindset to persuade others to get into, but it's one I have, and it's one I like to have, you know. It's a good one. How long have you been doing YouTube? Technically, I started over 3 years ago. My side channel was actually made in 2011. Creeps Pasta was made in 2012, so that was a year before. I just never put anything out on it other than a few little videos when it started. But yeah, so technically I've been doing it solidly for 2.5 years now, but I technically did start about 3 and a bit years ago. And we've got a 3-part question here. So number 1, does your family support you being a creepypasta narrator? Yeah, they seem to like it. They don't have a problem with it. A bit weird trying to explain it to them, but they get it. Number 2, does your family even know you're a creepypasta narrator? Well, that pertains to question 1. Yes, they do. And do you have a fallback plan if stuff hits the fan? Not saying it will, heaven forbid. Do I have a plan? No. If stuff hits the fan, then I'll just do something else. You know, it's a bit of a hard one to answer. Well, I do have a side channel. You know, I do my top 10s. I do my gameplay stuff. I have fun doing them. The creepypastas, I have fun doing them, and I'll keep doing them until they're not fun. So, I don't know, nothing really scares me about closing of channels, because it's always for fun. So let's see, where do you find all these stories? Do you make some up yourself? I find them on various places where they're posted, like Reddit No Sleep, creepypasta.com, Creepypasta Wikia, and even some Tumblr posts here and there. It's just, they're everywhere. The idea of creepypastas is that they're copied and pasted around the internet, you know, you can find them anywhere. Do I write? And yeah, I've written some myself. One's coming out this Friday, although depending on when I edit this, it could be last Friday, next Friday. I'm not a bad person. What got you first start? Oh, sorry, it's grammatically weird. Sorry, I'll correct it. What first got me to start writing creepypastas? I don't actually remember. It was years ago now. My first one I wrote was Your Secret Admirer, which has gotten quite popular, strange enough, to the point that someone's transcribed the whole video and uploaded it to the Wikia. That's not me who uploaded it, but, you know, it's strange what people will do. I don't mind, whatever. But I think I wrote it because I've never been good at writing up until the last year or two, and what's made me better at writing is in fact reading not so good stories, you know, stories that you go at. And I think it might have been when I was like, I think I'll give it a go, because when you go, oh, I bet I could do better, it's easy to say it, but can you do it? And I think that was my attempt to prove to myself that I could at least have a mindset of criticism. I don't know, it's a bit of a weird one. I think I've blown off every question as it's a bit of a weird one, but whatever. And this one doesn't even have a question mark, but I'll take it as a question. Is your accent real? It sounds like a bit of a joke question, but it has an element of truth. My accent isn't actually from my area, and I've lived here all my life, but I've never adopted my local accent. And even, I think I might get a bit of it from my dad. Because yeah, a lot of British accents are actually a lot more casual than the way I speak. Like, they miss out T's and H's a lot, so instead of Harry Potter, it's Harry Potter. You know, Harry Potter, you know, that stereotypical loose British accent, and I don't have that. And even when, like, many times when my dad's spoken in the background when I'm on call with some friends, they're like, your dad sounds really posh. And I think I must get it from him. And I don't know where he got it from. I don't know if it's his local accent or if it's just the way he enunciates things, but yeah, I don't know where my accent is from. What are your thoughts on the effects the religion has on society, and are you religious? Oh, a bit of an odd one that I pulled out from the list, but religion. Religion as a whole is actually a good idea in my opinion. It teaches good values and a lot of good things comes from it. You know, it spreads a lot of optimism. A lot of testimonials I hear from religion is, you know, they're in a deep pit of life and it helps pull them out. And a lot of people's lives have been saved because of religion. It's the extremists that take it to the far lengths of its negative views. And if you're a creepypasta fan and you're like, oh, it's bad, religion's stupid because it's bad things. You know, previously mentioned the Slenderman stabbings. You know, creepypastas have helped a lot of people. It's something for a lot of people to do. I recently had someone say they listen to my stuff while their mom is in hospital for cancer, and I think that's amazing. But, you know, there will always be the extremists in everything. So I don't think we're innocent anymore when it comes to judging things like that. And oh, someone said, wait, what? What do I stream on? I stream on Twitch. I make announcement videos for the Friday stream, but when I stream any other day, it's just whenever I feel like it. And oh, here we go. Hey, I'm Anna, and I was wondering what your thoughts are on the proxies. Do you count them as real creepypastas? It's a bit of a hard one to answer. Damn it, I gotta stop saying that, but it is a bit of a hard one to answer because I kind of don't know what a proxy is still. I've never fully known. I've seen them about though, and well, I do have a sort of opinion, and before I say it, I'm gonna say, if you were offended by this, don't take it literally, because my opinion is based on, it's subjective, it's based on lack of knowledge, so if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But the way I see it, like, okay, we're going to use a simile. The Sonic the Hedgehog fandom, they make their own OCs, and they make a lot of OCs, you know. Type in, it's a funny game, just type in any name and the Hedgehog. So John the Hedgehog, Jimmy the Hedgehog, and he'll come up with someone on Google. It's a really funny thing to do because you can try yourself, you can try your friends. It'll always come up with someone. And they're not canon, but they write fanfictions about them interacting with the main cast. And that's what proxies seem to be. I don't know, they seem to be very fan created, and they seem to be associated because they're proxies of a main character. And so, you know, it's just a great way for fans to involve themselves in their own little way. You know, and I think it's cool in that aspect. I think there are, wait, do you count them as real creepypastas? I don't know, that's the way I see them. But I can't answer that second one. Which creepypasta has scared you so much that it kept you up at night? None of them. Although some have scared me, I guess I can admit to. None of them have kept me up. I don't really stay up at night scared. You know, I just walk through it. Like if it's dark downstairs and I'm like, ooh, it's a little scary, I'll still go downstairs. What is it like having almost 250,000 people watching your videos? Is it quarter now? I don't know, I don't keep track. I don't know. For a start, I think that number's far wrong because there's a lot of inactive subs. That's what you always have to account for. Like anyone with 1 million subscribers, their videos can have 200,000 views each. Technically, it's not watched by everyone because people will subscribe and then stop watching. There'll be inactive accounts, duplicate accounts, false accounts for false advertising. But I don't know, it's interesting. I can't really pin the feeling because it's just whatever. I keep drilling it, you know, I just do it for the hell of it. So yeah, whatever is my answer. Is there something special you'd like to achieve in life by Niemand? Or Niamend? Stop having confusing names, people. I don't know, I don't really have anything special I like to achieve, I just do things. There's nothing specific, I don't really set solid goals, but I like setting tasks. I've never liked... It's like one of those big stories that have a bad ending. It doesn't matter about the bad ending, it's the journey getting there, if it's scary. You know, it's like I'm starting these short films now, and I've got a new super secret project that I've been talking to a certain someone about like last week, that I'll be announcing soon, possibly. But, you know, it's not been a set goal of mine, it's just something that happened, and it's something I wanted to do. So, that's all I can say, sorry. I realise I also haven't really directly answered any of these questions. Oh, I'm terrible. I wonder why I put this off for a year. Any tips or advice for people who want to try writing pastas? For writing pastas, I'd say read them. If it's a bad story, read a bad story and think, why was it bad? Don't just think, oh, it's bad and then discard it. Because that's actually how I kind of learned, because I've had to filter through so many quote-unquote bad stories to find the good ones. And the good ones are good to reference to, but if you read nothing but good stories and then try write, you'll just try emulate the style. Whereas you can try develop your own style by trying to avoid bad things. So what are your plans for creepypastas? Well, I've got a number of plans, and one of the plans is why I made the Patreon. The Patreon will hopefully help. Because, I don't know, it's kind of to the point now that I've announced that I'm meeting a director. The filming starts Thursday. And, you know, I want to do bigger and bigger projects with it. And if I paid everything out of pocket, I'll be... You know, I can't do it and it'll delay everything. And that's why I like the idea of Patreon. And yeah, that's my next plan, is to do those, do some filming for it. You know, do some little things like that. What's your lifestyle? My lifestyle is awful, and I do not wish it upon anyone. I sleep until 5 in the afternoon-ish. Between 3 and 5. I get up on my chair, and I sit here just doing computer things, either working on YouTube, mix of playing games, then when I'm bored, I'll do more YouTube stuff. And I'll just do this until 7 in the morning. It's currently 1:47 in the morning, and I've been sat here all day. And that's what I do every day. If that sounds fun to you, then okay, but it's not healthy. I have to order a special chair now, because my chair, I've sat in it so much, it's worn down to the wood, and I've used my pillow so much that that's worn down to the point that it's just flat. It's like paper. It's not good. Oh, this one's a fun one, because I get asked this a lot around a certain day in July. On a scale of 1 to America, how free are you? That question never ceases to baffle me, because, like, America, to me, from what I see, just isn't really free. You know, you got... Your genders have wage gaps, you have no free healthcare, you have gun shootings all the time. That sounds awfully scary. We don't have them. Australia doesn't have them because we have, you know, we have gun control. It's so much crazy things. You get, you prioritize non-white people in schools just to fill in a certain criteria, which in a sense, that's very racist. It's crazy. I mean, I don't know. Americans might be used to it, but from looking from outside of America, it's crazy, a lot of your customs. At some point, do you think at some point, if and when you show your subscribers your face, that's very assumptuous, when will you ever do a meetup in real life? I think one of the reasons I haven't really shown my face is to avoid meetups, as bad as that sounds, is because I'm not very good in social things. It's similar, I don't know, I answered a ask early on Tumblr saying it's similar to Cry, you know, he's not the best socially, and nor am I, you know, I don't want to be recognised for what I do online, and I like the idea of having separation. I can easily just, if I ever close down my accounts, no one will ever find me, and I like that, you know, I don't want recognition, I think it's stupid, I just want to sit on my own and do my own thing. Okay, 2 questions. How do you determine what creepypastas you'll read, and what do you think makes a good one? I did actually determine mine. Like, I can't read all of them to judge them, so I actually tend to judge it based on how it starts and how it ends. And if it grabs my curiosity, I'll read a bit higher on how it ends. Or if the start gets my curiosity, I'll read a bit later in. And yeah, it's just got to have a good hook and a good punch. Hook and punch. Hook and punch. Hook a punch. Don't punch hookers, guys. And what makes a good one? Well, yeah, if it's got a... Not necessarily if it's got a good end, but... I don't know, I tend to have to jump to... Sometimes I'll jump to a random paragraph and see how it plays out. And, I don't know, I judge them very differently. It depends on the story. It depends on a lot of things. It's hard to say one thing. It's all in my brain, though, so it makes sense to me. Do you ever read one of the creepypasta stories straight through, then later read it again and feel differently about... feel a different way about it? By Chrissy. Actually, sometimes I record straight up, you know, when I find a story that I want to do, I'll just record it. But instead of reading it again, I'll obviously have to listen to it again while editing, and that's when I can hear sort of parts that make sense. You know, when you watch a movie twice and things start adding up and it's like, oh my gosh, you know, I can sometimes get that. Do people often PM you stories, and if so, how often do you read/narrate them? I don't know how you guys will take this, but although I do have suggestions open, I don't actually do them much. And it's because, like, I keep saying this now, it's getting a bit redundant to say, but, you know, like I keep saying, you know, I do things for fun. When someone tells me to do a story, it's not fun. I like to choose to do something, but when there's enough suggestions, like the other internet was one, where a lot of people are like, oh, you should check this one out, you should check this one out. And when I do go to it, I'll find it, and I'm like, actually, yeah, this one's quite good, then I'll do it. But, I don't know, suggestions are a bit hit and miss. But I do like them, I do appreciate people asking. How did your voice become so amazing? I mean, seriously, how do you have such a theatrical voice? How did you achieve this? I think I threw this one in here to say I don't hear it. I never have. People are like, oh, I like your voice, and I'm like, do you really? What's so good about it? And before you answer, I don't think there'll be any answer that will fully answer it for me, because I don't know, I think it's a curse. I think I'll be cursed to never hear what people like about my voice. But yeah, as long as other people like it though, it's cool. It's cool. Why don't you ever swear in any of your videos? Just wondering. I love your videos and I hope you have an awesome YouTube career and a happy one. By Connor Trickett. Actually, I stopped swearing in high school. It's just something I was like, you know, I don't know why I do this, I'm gonna stop. So I did, and I haven't since then. And that falls into my whole... You know, I've always had a fascination of self-discipline, and it was very hard to stop. And I'm sure, like, anyone who tries stopping for a day can find it harder just to accidentally slip and, you know, let one out. But I don't know, I just stopped and never started. And, I don't know, it's just a thing I did. It's a thing I do. Do you know Mr. Creepypasta and Creepypasta Jr. in person? I've met them in person, and I know them on Skype. You know, I've talked to them loads. We're good friends. But, yeah, I've met them twice last year when I went to America. Well, you know, I went to America twice last year and met them. But yeah, it was good. Will you be doing a story with more than one narrator ever again? This one is an interesting one because I sometimes get people like, you should do a collab with Mr. Poopy Caca, and why don't you do a story with me? And it's so hard to find a collaborativity story. I don't know, personally, I find that, you know, say if I'm telling a story, say if I was like, oh yeah, me and my friend Jim did this thing, and Jim said, it doesn't cut to Jim's voice because I'm telling the story. I'll say Jim said dinosaurs smell like poop. But some people throw collaborations and try force them in where Jim would then have his own voice, and I think that's a bit weird. So even when there's other people in a story, it can be hard to find one to do a collaboration with. And even then, it's hard to find the right actors. You know, like I have my problem is that I'm not American, and all my friends are American, and it can be hard to find British people to do stories with to make it continuity makes sense. So it's very hard for me to do collabs. I don't know, that's what I'm pinning it on anyway. If you had to recommend a creepypasta to a person who doesn't know anything about creepypastas yet, which creepypasta would you recommend to that person? I stated in my Patreon that I've been to many networking events. Networking events is where you can find, like, say if it's for film, you can find photographers, you can find cameramen, actors, sound people, you can find all the people, and it's a good way to network, you know, find people to use. And I've got business cards of people who I met. And I've been to game ones too, you know, like game designers, voice actors, journalists, all these people. And sometimes I like to pitch my ideas to them, and when I'm like, oh, have you heard of creepypastas? They almost always say no. They've never heard of it. So I explain to them the story of White with Red. That's the one, that's the go-to one, because I kind of know it off by heart now. And it's got a good punch to it, you know. And that's the one I tend to recommend, because it's short, it explains the points. This is good. That and Portraits. Portraits is good. What is your favourite fast food item? Usually fast food to me is a rarity. I don't really have fast food often. It's a bit of a special treat, and although I do like pizza and stuff like that, I'd have to say my favourite, because it's so hard to get because we don't have them in this country. But I had it as a last meal in America. Arby's. I don't know what it is, but it's so nice, and I'm so hungry right now, and I can't wait to finish this recording. But Arby's is so good. It was, well, that melted cheese and that meat are, I don't know what I don't know if it's normal. I don't know if people in America are like, just Arby's. But over here, I'm like, oh, it's so good. And I can't wait to bring some friends over next time and get them to try it. Can you use subtitles in your videos? I personally can't precisely what you... I can't understand what you say precisely sometimes. I don't know, I'm trying to correct this in my head. Or reading out. It's okay whether it's external SRT files for YouTube or in video captions. It's okay if you think it's useless, just an opinion. I actually have used the caption things on YouTube, but past a few minutes, past the few minutes thing, it tends to mess up quite a lot, because you have to do timestamps, and it's a hard job to line it up on bigger videos. So I've done it for short ones. But here's the thing, if you check the description of all my videos, I'm pretty sure all of them anyway, any of my videos, I'll always put a link to the story. And you know what, in my tips for new readers, I always say the visuals aren't important, and when you're listening, you know the visuals aren't important. And even though I've been putting a bit more effort in, I don't mind if you go and open, you know, the story so you can read along with it. You know, that's the best way. I find that if you're struggling to understand, that's the best way to get around it. So yes. Yeah, you can just read along, and that's a great way to follow it. Do you use your Deviant account at times? I use it to comment on fan arts, and you know, I don't really do much digital art, so I don't really upload much. Yeah, this is a question. This next question is one I pulled out because I got some strange assumptions. This is why is there that video on your side channel called Sloppy Dicks? Are you gay? I don't know why people thought that was me coming out. I don't know. It was just the reason behind that video was, you know, Mr. Creepypasta Jr. and like Wellhead Productions, and all, like pretty much every narrator I find has these opening bumpers that go like, and the name comes out of a book made of tatty paper, and then like, or it'll be like lightning and go, and the names will come out and scary noises in the background, and I've never seen them. I don't know. It's not that I've never seen the point. I don't know. If you're on my channel, you know who I am. I've never seen the point of having one personally, and that's why I don't have one. So it was a sort of a satirical dick. It's like, I could have made a cool bumper that says creeps for pasta, or I could say sloppy dicks, you know. It's all, you know, tomatoes, it's all the same thing. But yeah, that was the reason behind the video, but some people didn't get it. It's fine. Someone said, "Are you a man?" I am Groot. Sorry, I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy. It was a good movie and a bad movie, but I don't know, it's definitely worth watching. But are you a homosexual? Oh, that kind of pertains to the previous, or the question before. I've made a post about this on Tumblr saying I've not openly put out my sexuality, and my reason for this is that, you know, when you're listening to me right now, I'm kind of a character. I'm Creepswick Pasta. I'm not, and I'm not going to say my real name because, you know, you don't need to know that. Although there were so many questions asking about that. But no, I'm playing a character, and some people like to sort of play with this character like an action figure, almost, in their sort of fan fictions, in their mind, with their ideas, in their creepypastas. You know, I've seen people use me in them. And, you know, if I were to say, oh yeah, I'm gay, then it's kind of cutting out a large demographic of women you know, some people like to put me in romantic situations, and it kind of cuts that in half. If I say I'm straight, you know, again, it does the opposite. You know? Well, not the opposite, it does the same thing with the opposite gender, you know, and it's like, well, oh no, that breaks all my ships, blah blah blah. So I like the idea of not saying it. You know, it kind of leaves things vague, and it leaves things up to you guys. I mean, hell, the design of my character wasn't done by me, and a lot of things added to it is not done by me. The tail, that was added by Paper and Cakes. The cracked ear was added by Jill McLeod. The sort of vague, less Pikachu face thing was done by My Hat is Blue. You know, everyone's added their own things, and some people were like, oh, I want to draw your person. What's his character specifically? And I'm like, just do what you want, see what comes out. I think it's more fun that way. If I tell you what to draw, then you're just going to draw what everyone else has done. If I say, no, have some creative freedom, it's really fun for me then, because I get to see some of the interesting things you guys come up with. You know, who's to say he's got to wear a tuxedo? I don't care. Do people submit creepypastas, or do you just read one and be like, damn, more need to see this? Yeah, I think I've answered that earlier actually. Yeah, I do sometimes look through my suggestions, but I don't like taking them in the sense that they want me to do it. If I do one, I have to look at it and think, no, I like this one, I'll do it. But I very rarely do. I like to just find them, personally. But that's not to say don't send them in. But, yeah, whatever. Yeah. You get it now. And the last one, Dear Creeps. You asked me this question not directly, but I'm going to ask you, what's your favourite pasta monster? Mine is the thing from TV Man, not a well-known one, but creepy and a monster all the same. With love, Jacob England. It's very hard to answer. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of them. I mean, on Twitter I've been doing satirical digs towards them, although I've slowly learnt satire does not come through on Twitter apparently. But I'd say out of all of them, the only one that really doesn't have huge flaws is Smile Dog. I kind of like that one. That one's a very interesting one. It's very classic as well. I like it in the classic sense. The TV Man, that's one I wrote, isn't it? And that one's one of the one I'm like. There was a week in October where I did stories written by me, and that was one of them. And they were really rushed, and I don't really like them. So I'm surprised to see you like them. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's really interesting. It's cool to hear. So yeah, thanks for all the questions, guys. I'll try to do this a bit more often. Although, I don't know. I will have to, I guess, since it's a sort of a Patreon related thing too. But yeah, if you made it this far, comment, because I'm looking at my David Bowie mug. David Bowie mug. David Bowie. I like David Bowie. He's very good. Wasn't a huge fan of his new album, but I do like his stuff. I don't know where I'm going with this. It's tired. I'm tired. It's too late for me.